Dzień dobry. Za chwilę obejrzysz kolejny odcinek New Power Show. Naszą społeczność tworzą wspaniali, przedsiębiorczy ludzie, którzy chętnie dzielą się swoją wiedzą i doświadczeniem. W ramach naszej struktury, zwanej New Power Show, wypracowaliśmy własne strategie, które pomagają z sukcesem robić ten biznes. Jeśli chciałabyś lub chciałbyś dołączyć do nas, upewnij się, że osoba, która Cię zaprosiła do obejrzenia tego odcinka, rzeczywiście jest członkiem społeczności New Power Show. Żeby uniknąć rozczarowań, poproś taką osobę, aby potwierdziła przynależność do naszej struktury drogą mailową. Przykładową treść takiego maila znajdziesz w opisie tego odcinka. A teraz zapraszam Cię do oglądania New Power Show. Good evening, my name is Karolina Łaporzeplinska and I warmly welcome you to the next episode of New Power Show. This meeting is the most important for me personally because I have a pleasure of hosting Kenton Worthington in our studio. Kenton, above all, is a unique man, one of the best network marketers in the world, associated with the industry over 20 years right now. Is it correct?
Yes.
And he has built a business all over the world over the years. And thank you for accepting the invitation and come here to our studio. And this is one of my biggest dreams to have you here, to host you here. So thank you very much. And my first question is, how did you get into the network marketing industry, Kenton?
Wow, you know, when you said 20 years, I'm quickly doing the math in my mind. My first recollection of receiving a phone call from someone that I didn't know actually was when I was 17 years old. So that's been 30 years ago. And I was thinking about that this morning. I haven't thought about it probably for 20 years, but it came back to me. I'm grateful that this person in our neighborhood had passed my name along to someone else. And they called and said, "We heard that you are a sharp young man and you're ambitious and that you want to do big things in your life, and we have an opportunity for you."
And you started when you were 27?
So that was 17 years old, and it turned out to be probably still the largest company in the industry. And that was my first recollection of being exposed. And I actually did join that business. They were focused on selling educational materials, even though the company sells a lot of different things.
Even a 17-year-old person could join such a business, really?
Yeah, you had to get parents' permission legally. In fact, I just signed up my niece, you know her well, and her birthday, what she wanted for her birthday when she turned 16 was to be able to join Nu Skin, and we had to have, you know, her parents sign and allow her to do it, but yes.
And I wonder, because today you are a very successful person, and everybody, when they look at the top, they think, of course, this man he was successful right away. And I wonder how this journey looks like, and what was the hardest part of this journey, and maybe there are some parts which are the easy part.
Hopefully I can comment just about this idea of being on the top of anything. It is a common misunderstanding. When I meet people and they ask me what I do, and they see the lifestyle that I'm living, they often say, "Oh, you must be at the top of that company," you know? And it really kind of, the idea there is that somehow I was placed on the top of something big and I get this income from that, but I always respond the same way. I started just like every other mountain that I've climbed my entire life at the bottom. And this answers your question of what was the most difficult thing. I can't think of one thing, but the best investment that required incredible amounts of energy, mental, spiritual, physical energy, was to overcome my own weaknesses, my fears, and I still struggle with this today. So I've often said that this is a personal development program with a compensation plan.
Exactly, yes. Worth to implement in life, yeah?
Absolutely.
And I wonder, because you always mention that your father used to say that, show me your friends and I will show you your future. And I wonder how your journey was led by the people and who helped you to be in this place when you are today. Do you have such a people, or it was just your own?
Absolutely. And I wrote that this morning. You know, my dad always said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Jim Rohn, I read a book by Jim Rohn many years ago. It's mentioned the same idea of you become the average of your 5 closest friends. Look around you. And when I looked around me outside of my mom and dad, it was quite bleak. Where I grew up in the neighborhood and the thought process. And I found my first great mentors in books. So I could thank countless authors and heroes in great books that, along with my parents, that were the beginning of opening my mind and my heart to the greatness and opportunity and joy that personal development and life offers us. So I could never list all the names.
Yes, but I wonder when young Kenton is, you know, young professional network marketer, who was this person who really helped you to understand this industry? Who really, you know, helped you to build this business, if you can say
so interesting, because I was in other companies before I found the company that I'm currently with. And I am deeply grateful for the mentors at each one of those places. There was something that attracted me, or excuse me, someone. It was never a thing. It was never really the company or opportunity. It was the person. And one of my first early mentors was a man named Mohsen Arfai. He was an Iranian immigrant to the United States, one of the most hard-working humans on the planet. And he taught me incredible things about the industry. That opened me up to my next opportunity. And I really could spend an hour talking about the mentors at each one of these places along my journey that prepared me for what became my greatest, or who became my greatest mentor in my career.
And I wonder right now, because you mentioned that you were working with 2 different companies before you start cooperation with current one. And my question is, what would you recommend for the people who will be watching this show, this program? What is the most important right now from your perspective? Because you have, you know, I know, quite tough, difficult experiences with the previous one. And what would you recommend for such a person? What is the best to look at when you want to find the best company to cooperate with, in your opinion?
Again, I could speak about this for an hour, but really do due diligence. So often we get excited about this, you know, whatever opportunities presented. And my dad was an optimist. My mom was very skeptical. And I think skepticism is different than pessimism. Pessimism is I'm not open to ideas. Skepticism that's healthy is asking the tough questions, really looking into an opportunity, finding out about the founders. What about the mission? What's the philosophy of the products? Where are they focused? All of those things are critical because, as you said, I had a difficult time finding my way here. And my dad also used to say, Kenton, you only get one name. Be careful what you do with it. And I felt like, because I was a young person, I didn't even know the right questions to ask to find out if the company I was in would survive.
And this is my question, because many people, you know, they find out about the industry. They go anywhere because they don't even think. They go, I like it. And after a while, it's, you know, okay, so company changing the model or companies disappeared, and they are disappointed with the whole industry. With the whole model. So my question is, you as a you know, man with experience, what would you say to? What would you tell them that, you know? Because my my biggest mission is to show to the people that this is industry of the future. This is really business which can help people to change their life and create better income. We could talk a lot about it, how life can change, but still I wonder, what would you tell to such a people which has bad experience in the past, and maybe they don't want to even look, but maybe they should? What's your opinion?
I was there. I was at that place where, after some poor experiences, really painful experiences, because my integrity, I believe, is everything, and I let people down, even though the company, my current mentor, my current company, this mentor is the one that told me the model, the company, the way it was set up, let you down. Not you. You were successful. You needed the right vehicle. So I would say, in the short amount of time that we have, really asking important questions about the financial stability of the company, the value set of the founders. Don't just believe what somebody says in the presentation. I often close my presentation by saying, we expect you to ask the hard questions. The deeper you dig, the more impressed you will become. And I want people to, I'd love everyone to do that in this industry. I would. I mean, I really could spend an hour looking into the financials, asking about fulfillment, asking how their product and sourcing have. During COVID, a lot of companies went bankrupt and simply ended, not just in our industry, but because of supply chain issues.
Even right now, I think that
it's still it's
economical condition which is hard for the companies. I think we will see many bankruptcy in this industry as well.
Insolvency, bankruptcies, we already know. The vultures are circling, sadly. I hate to see this, but in my business career, outside of our industry, my first big, huge business where I became a multimillionaire was in the cell phone world, and the largest company in the United States doing long distance went into the cell phone business. I was their biggest dealer. And it was unfathomable that they would fail. And they declared bankruptcy. So I want to draw that it's not only failures in our industry. Generally, business is hard to do.
Exactly, yes.
It's risky. And so to succeed at a high level takes some special ingredients. And I think they're driven by mission and purpose and values of founders and other things.
You mentioned about your mentor in this current company, so I would like to stop a little bit and talk shortly about Nathan Ricks and ask you what was the most important lesson you learned from him?
There's so many I could list. Let me just, if I can, indulge me, I'll share with you the beginning of the book and the ending. The best lesson that he taught me in the beginning was never lie to me, Kenton. The truth is good enough.
Yes.
Okay? Again, a whole book could be written about what that means. And the last lesson, one of the last lessons that he taught me was to be a finisher. And he said that his life's desire was to be a finisher, like the greatest finisher known to mankind. And that was his great mentor. And those two things to me guide my life and will always remain with me. And I am feeling a lot of emotion, not only because I'm grateful, but because he's no longer with us.
Yes.
And he recently passed, just for the viewer so they know.
Yes, yes, he was the legend, dear guest our here. He was the legend in this industry. I think the one of the biggest name. I will not say ever, but right now, yes, we can say it. Yes, and we will. I think that he create the legacy which will last, and this is the biggest, the biggest achievement which he did, and for sure we will be talking a lot about him during coming months, because we will organizing a special event in October in Warsaw where we want to talk more about his wisdom, about his legacy, and you will be the special guest there. So we are happy to learn and teach a lot of people about it, what is important in this industry and how should they work the best.
I'm really looking forward to that because we'll have more time and that'll be great.
Yes, I am sure. But I wonder, how do you see the future of this industry? What is your opinion?
My opinion is, and you said, I think you made a comment earlier about the industry. I believe that this is the oldest industry. It really is. The idea that I find something of value and I share it with somebody that I care about is our industry. It's that simple. I really believe that. But with the advent of new technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, the connectivity of everything around us, our industry must embrace that and shift, and I believe that we're perfectly positioned to do that, because as the world becomes more technologically advanced, more digital, the human connection, the human touch becomes more important than ever. We will place the master strokes. This idea came from the great artisans of the past, like the Sistine Chapel was not painted only by Michelangelo. It was impossible. There were thousands of artisans. But he would come in, and the master would come in and place the final strokes on each piece, which were called the master strokes, and then his or her name would be placed on that. And I believe this. I read an article about the professional world that will change. As an example, attorneys.
Yes.
Most of the work will be done by the artificial intelligence, but the master strokes, the final bit. So it really will raise the value of the human connection and the human interaction. And so in our industry, that's what we've always been doing.
But do you perceive this industry as a women industry? Because I don't know, but I hear it a lot of times, and I wonder what is your opinion, because I see the huge opportunity here for men. And, you know, a lot of times, because we are working with Nuskin, I hear, no, I will not be working with, you know, creams, this is ladies' business, blah, blah, blah. So I wonder, what do you think about
That's exactly what I thought in the beginning. I was really hesitant. I was really turned off by that idea. But, of course, my mentor was a powerful male figure, and he taught me, I mean, our focus was on the supplement side and our technology that is so powerful and unique.
But I think that artificial intelligence can change, and, you know, technology can change this trend. I believe in this.
It can change anything. It's a tool.
Yeah.
So any tool will do what we ask it to do or
Yes.
what we focus on. So if we place the focus and intention on growing, let's say, this market of men, of course we can do that.
I wonder, can I ask this question? How do you see the Nuskin future in this industry?
This company's, so you can tell a lot about a person and a company by their goals, mission, and vision.
Yes.
And our current CEO said a couple of things I want to share that I love in a private meeting with us, but he said it publicly. Number one, he said with the advent of technology and the way the world is changing, we will leave no human behind. The hair stood up on the back of my neck.
Yes.
Because I realized that because of this artificial intelligence movement, so many jobs will be redundant.
Yes.
They won't be necessary for humans to do anymore, which brings a huge opportunity for us. The second thing that he said that really I loved, to be considered a market leader in the beauty industry. This is only the beauty. This is not beauty and wellness. And we are a beauty and wellness company. In fact, we're the only one in our industry that's so well balanced between those two. But in the beauty industry, to become a market leader, you have to do $100 billion in revenue. And he said, our intention is to become a market leader. Now,
fingers crossed, yes.
I can't speak for our company. It's a public company. I love big goals, but I believe that. We have things that can make a difference for the whole world. And I love big, hairy, audacious goals. And I believe that that's the future of our company is much like the past. We'll continue to innovate. We'll continue to touch lives. And we'll continue to be relevant in people's lives as we change and grow and continue to serve their needs.
You are a person who was involved in opening this region, our region, Poland, Hungary, Czech, Slovaks. You love this part of the world, and we love you as well. But I wonder, how do you perceive our potential, this part of the world potential?
Well, I've always seen it as a significant opportunity for the local people that I love. I speak Hungarian. I lived in Hungary as a young man. I need to learn more languages here. I love this part of the world with my whole heart. Some of the hardest working, most open-hearted, humble, wonderful people. And because I felt maybe picked on in the world in my life, I heard some of that in Hungary of people feeling pushed down and repressed, and our income is lower. And in fact, I had dinner last night with some leaders, and you know, compared to Switzerland and compared to, and started listing these huge GDP countries, I don't like that. Let me just tell you quickly, I don't know if you can air this. I hope it can be. I doubt it. But I came here. The company didn't believe it. Even my sponsor and mentor told me not to waste my time working in Eastern Europe. So a lot of people didn't believe that there was an opportunity here. I knew that that was different. I knew that we could do something incredible. And because I knew it and I had a vision of that, I attracted other people that knew that. And within months after opening, Hungary became the #1 market in our company and all of Europe, and was for many, many months and years. And that literally fired our entire company up. People would say in Japan and China and all these places,
yes.
if little Hungary could do this,
exactly,
right? You could do anything.
Yes.
I love those stories. Everyone loves the hero's journey
yes.
of someone that is considered or some place. So I love this region. There's no question that this region has a significant role to play in our industry and in the world, because there's amazing humans here that can do amazing things, and they do amazing things.
Exactly. Yes, we are very grateful because, you know, thanks to that, many Polish, I think the thousands of Polish families changed their life. And it's really huge opportunity. And this is what I always mention. Polish people always earn less money than others. You know, I was working in advertising industry, and the same Carolina living in US would earn 4, 5, 6 times more than I here living in Warsaw. So this opportunity which gave us possibility to earn the same money everywhere, that we are equal, you know, there is no, you know, difference.
There's no different pay scale
yes.
based on where you're
yes.
at. I
yes.
wanted to say this. I know my organization and I know where my leaders are, and the only difference in income is based on the value they bring to the marketplace. There is zero limit based on race, sex, background, where they live. And in fact, you make, probably can't share this, you make a lot more than my leaders in the United States. You just do. And you're doing similar work, but they haven't achieved the level of success and impact and influence that you have. I love that about our industry.
Yes, and I wonder, do you think that everyone can work in this industry and be successful in this industry?
I think people can choose to be successful at whatever they want to be successful at in their lives. This industry is no different than that. I love that about this industry.
Yes, I think that we are on the best, we live in the best times, really.
Oh.
Very exciting and giving a lot of opportunities for the people who want to use these opportunities.
Wow, if I could, the best time. This is one of the most significant moments in human history.
Yes, I think so.
And I cannot overstate this. What will take place in the next few months and years
yeah.
is incomprehensible even to the most significant minds of our day.
Yeah, I think that
it's incredible.
Yeah, that we will be shocked how fast it will be changing this world and this industry as well. We hear a lot that leaders are born at the events. I would like to ask you for your opinion about events and why this is so important to attend events.
Yeah, I love this statement. Leaders are born at events. I could say leaders are born in books. Leaders
yes.
are born in conversations
yes.
like this. The idea there is that we are experiential creatures. Sight, sound, taste, touch, all of these things. And when you're able to remove yourself from the normal routine of your life and have because it opens up opportunity for new experience. For me, being on a studio like this is brand new. So sensory overload, new experiences for me that I will take home. I will never be the same again. So events offer sometimes speakers that can make a huge difference. The content is always valuable, but often it's not even what's said from the stage. You know, it's the person beside you or in front of you, a connection you make on your way to the bathroom or having your drink or coffee. I cannot overstate the idea of removing yourself from the normal routine of life and getting a little bit uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable for some people.
Yes.
It was for me. It still is, sadly, to go to the events, but I have never regretted it. I am always better for being there and having allowed myself to be open to new connections and new ideas. I've made it a habit in my life. I said years ago, because I'm encouraging people to come, let's say, to a live event a few times a year, or doing some personal development or reading a book. And I realized that I have achieved, in part, the level of success that I have because I have attended more events than almost anyone else in my organization. I've organized more events. I've written more speeches. And it's not that I was so smart, but in the aspiration to inspire other people, I had to refine my own things. I was going to an event for probably 15 years in a row, every weekend. I was probably
15 years.
Oh yes,
every weekend.
Every weekend, because I was, you know, Poland. You guys do an event in October.
Yeah.
In October, every weekend in October, I'm booked. Every weekend next month, I'm booked. Every weekend this month, I was, but right, because I'm moving around. We have business in 50 countries,
yes.
and I would tell my leaders in Hungary. They think I just show up and I work 72 hours with them, and then they go home, and I would continue on. This was the analog way.
Yeah.
Right? Just city to city. It was a grind. I loved it because I was young and wanted to see the world. But yes, I've done thousands of events.
So what would you tell to the people who say, okay, but online we don't have to come on such an event, we can join on Zoom, and why, if they think to be successful in this industry, they should join to this analog offline events?
It goes back to what I just said. Removing ourselves from our comfort zone, getting uncomfortable will allow us to grow. And then it will become comfortable to us. So that's just a basic success principle. I love Zoom. I love being on those meetings. In fact, there are some benefits to that over being live for me.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that if you're not doing both. And so if you're rowing a boat with only one row, you're just going to spin in circles, right? If I'm only digital, if I'm only, if I can communicate and connect and be digital, and I can hug people.
Yes.
I mean,
after COVID, I think that we miss such a, situation, relations, be in the group of people, and we saw it few days ago and yesterday, yeah. But I think that this is what I see, that this online way, which used to be the best to recruit or communicate with people, is losing, because winning is always when you have physical, communication, contact, yeah.
These are the master strokes. They will make all the difference. I really believe that. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled. And
oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
This made all the difference.
We were talking about this poem, I don't know, a week ago with Piotr.
It is very significant.
Yeah.
There's so much truth there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that those events in all areas, from outside of our industry and inside of our industry, have aggregated to bless my life in a way that I don't have the words to express. And it's an experience. Come and experience it, and you will never be the same, in a good way.
Yeah, so we invite you to our event in October, and we hope that you will change a lot of things in your life. Last 3 questions, and last quick questions. So I would like to ask you for 1-sentence answer, if it's possible. What is the best advice you ever received?
See, now, the minute you said one sentence answer, I got frozen.
Go.
No, really, I go back to what my dad said. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. To say the best advice is very difficult, but life-changing advice, tell the truth and tell it faster. I can't think of only one, but my dad always resonates with me. You only get one name, Kenton. Be careful what you do with it. And that has guided my life. And I haven't always done well, but.
What is the worst advice you ever received?
My brain automatically wants to be optimistic because I've trained it that way. Like, every bad piece of advice that I ever got turned out to be a great lesson for me. So I don't know that I could say that. The thing that's coming to my mind, and I'll just share it, was from the greatest leader, networker, and mentor in my life, who was incredibly wise, told me to not waste my time in Hungary. And he was wrong. And that's okay. That was beautiful. We're not always right. And he's the one that celebrated my success there and here in this region more than anyone else. He loved this region.
Yes.
He recognized that, and actually maybe he knew that I am rebellious.
And maybe it will make
maybe
you more...
it will make me work harder because I think he knew me very well. So.
Yes. I think that when I was thinking about this worst advice, that we a lot of time think what other people will think about us or about our, decisions. And I think that this is something which we shouldn't be thinking of too much. And this was something which I got a lot in the past, in very, very long time ago, that you should think what people will say. Oh, no, you shouldn't.
I've heard this before, but absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, because my mind's drawing a blank. I don't even know. I think all of us have this. My intuition, that part of us that knows the truth, kind of checks everything quickly.
Yeah.
And if somebody's giving me advice and it doesn't ring true, I don't feel the light of it. It goes in and it goes out. And it's not there anymore.
Yes, but you are on different stage, I think.
No, I know. If I could think of the 17-year-old Kenton, I can tell you there's some really okay, my first football coach told me how to squat, and it was wrong. And I actually have a back injury for 35 years because of it. Bad advice.
The last question. What would you advise to all these people who are afraid to jump to the network marketing industry?
I would say that there's two kinds of fear. There's a fear that will keep us safe, and there's a fear that is letting you know that this is exactly what you're looking for. Kevin Hall often says, I don't know where it comes from, but the cave you most fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. And this coming on this show was one of my great fears, even though it's one of the great honors for me to be here with you and with the audience and to be part of this. But I was afraid of it, and exactly because it would benefit my life and I could make a breakthrough. So I would say, look at the fear and ask what it's trying to teach you, because fear can be an incredible teacher, and you can dance with it, and it can lead you to amazing places.
And I think this is the best summary of our conversation. I would like to thank you very much, Kenton. And I hope it's not our last meeting here. And I hope we will meet a lot of times, and we will be able to get more information from you. And I cannot wait to see you in October in Warsaw. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Thank you. Good night.
Uwaga! 14 i 15 października w Warszawie odbędzie się New Power Summit. Spodziewamy się wspaniałych prelegentów z Polski, Europy, USA i z Azji. Tegoroczny event będzie poświęcony pamięci Nathana Ricksa, legendy network marketingu, który zmarł tragicznie w styczniu 2023 roku. Ten światowej klasy networker, mówca i biznesmen był związany z firmą Nuskin przez 30 lat. Zbudował sieć ponad 500 000 dystrybutorów w 54 krajach. Jego organizacja odpowiada za $1 miliard obrotu rocznie firmy Nuskin i jej spółki córki Farmanex. Podczas tegorocznego eventu czeka na Was potężna dawka wiedzy poparta praktycznym doświadczeniem liderów, wzorowanym na wartościach i sposobie pracy wdrożonym do naszej organizacji przez Nathana Ricksa. Swój udział w wydarzeniu potwierdził Kenton Worthington, jeden z największych liderów firmy Nuskin. Nathan Ricks powiedział kiedyś, że nigdzie na świecie nie spotkał osoby obdarzonej naturalną charyzmą w takim stopniu jak Kenton Worthington. Z Azji przyleci do nas Tao Le, czołowa liderka rynku wietnamskiego. Oboje ściśle współpracowali z Nathanem Ricksem. Cecilia Molina, czołowa liderka rynku hiszpańskiego. Na evencie pojawi się również Mateusz Mrozowski, certyfikowany trener sprzedaży i przywództwa. Kolejne osoby, które potwierdziły swój przyjazd do Warszawy, to najwięksi liderzy z Argentyny, Vito Giordano i Gonzalo Fare. Z Czech przyjedzie do nas czołowa liderka tego rynku, Itka Psejowa. Oraz prosto z Węgier János Koran. Nie zabraknie również czołowych i najlepszych liderów z rynku polskiego. Po prostu musicie z nami tam być. Do zobaczenia na New Power Summit 2023.